Upcycled Life, and welcome to my channel and welcome to my workshop. Today I have a really fun video. I've had these two pieces in my shed for probably 2 years, and I just never got inspired. They were actually legs off an old antique table. I found them in the dump and I brought them home and was never inspired. So today I got inspired and I've created a beautiful flower shop sign and a beautiful vintage garden sign with the decoupage technique and an image transfer technique. So I'm excited to show you guys today how I created them. If you like thrifting, DIYs, and repurposing, you've come to the right place, and we'd love to have you follow along. So make sure you like, subscribe, and hit the bell for notifications so you don't miss any great content. I'm also going to put a link below in the description to my Facebook page and my Instagram page because I'm really active over there and I create lots of stuff that I don't make videos for on a day-to-day basis, so you can kind of keep up to date and see what I'm doing every day over on those platforms. Okay, let's get started. These are the napkins that I found at Dollarama. They're a 3-ply floral print napkin and I think they're just beautiful. And these are the antique table legs that I found in the dump. I actually have 2 of them, so I'm going to make 2 signs today. The first step is to remove all the layers of the napkins. These are, like I said, a 3-ply, so you'll be taking off 2 layers of the white napkin before you decoupage it on your project. Now this table leg, I had already painted it with black chalk paint and then white chalk paint, and then I sanded it, and that's when I ended up putting it in the corner of my shed and not doing anything with it. So the first step before you decoupage is to make sure that you don't have a straight edge on your napkin. You want to rip away so you have kind of a rough edge that you're going to butt up your next napkin to. It'll just give it more of a natural look. I'll put a link below in the description for my chalk paint recipe. It's a fabulous one and it's my go-to recipe. So have a look at that one after you've finished watching this. Now we're ready to decoupage. I'm using this decoupage mat by Decor. It's exactly like Mod Podge. I had a hard time finding Mod Podge when everything was closed, so I bought this and I've been very happy with the results of it. And you're just going to put a light coat. You don't want it too thick because I find if you put it on too thick you're going to get a lot more wrinkles. Just a thin coat, enough to adhere the napkin to your project. Center it where you want it and then just gently just tap it down and try to push out all those little wrinkles. I just use a really light hand and just carefully smooth it all out. I have yet to create a perfect decoupage project, and I've been doing this for a long time. I kind of sometimes embrace the wrinkles. I think it just kind of gives it a little bit more character, and especially for this design that I'm using now, I actually want it to be kind of wrinkly and kind of vintage looking. Now we're ready to butt up the next piece. So once again, you're going to open up your napkin and you're going to remove the 2 plies before you put on the 1-ply napkin. Match up the pattern as best as you can so it looks the most natural. And then once you figure out where you want it, you're going to rip that edge so it looks more natural and will blend in together with the piece that's already been decoupaged. I'm not speeding this process up so you can actually see the whole process of me putting this on. I find it's easier, and then I can show you all my little tips and tricks as we go. Instead of doing a fast forward or a time lapse. Put another light coat of your Mod Podge on, and this one I actually even take the little edges from the first piece and make sure I put a little bit of Mod Podge on them before I put down the next napkin. Blend the 2 pieces together with your finger and just kind of tap down and make sure that both of those edges are sealed really well, and then just lightly press the rest of the piece down. I sometimes find the Mod Podge, when you're putting a light layer, it kind of dries, so just add a little bit here and there wherever you need it, and I'm going to seal these two edges together so they don't lift. Now I actually forgot to rip this little edge, so I'm going to go and just remove some of that edge before I put on my last piece of napkin. I was going to grab another piece of napkin, and I thought, that's kind of silly. I can just use a piece off of the bottom, waste not, want not. So I'm just going to rip a little piece off right here. It's already got a ripped edge, and it's all ready to be put on. After you've got all the napkin put on, you want to put a liberal coat of Mod Podge over the entire surface that you've just done. And then you want to let it completely dry, probably for a couple hours. And then we're ready to sand. I'm using an 80 grit because I kind of want a real distressed look on this. So I'm gonna sand all around all of the edges to remove all that extra napkin. And then I'm going to take the sander right across the whole piece actually. And then if there's any little wrinkles or any little bubbles, it's actually going to take it down to that white and maybe show even through a little bit of that black paint from the original piece that was painted on the table leg. Make sure you've really let it dry completely, because if you sand before it's been dried completely, you're going to rip right through that napkin and have an awful mess. So I actually let this sit out in the sun for a couple hours before I even attempted to sand it. Now isn't this fabulous? Look at all the texture in it. You can see this, the paint peeking through here and there, the distressed edge, and even the flowers have kind of distressed a little bit, and it makes it look really vintage, kind of chippy and old, like it was around for 100 years. Now because this sign might be outside, I'm going to put a really good coat of Varathane matte finish on this, and I really like this one. It doesn't yellow, and it gives it a nice hard finish that you can dust or wipe off if you need to. You can use Mod Podge to seal it if that's what you like. This is just my preference of how I like to seal all of my projects. Okay, now we're ready to make a couple signs. I am using my Decoupage mat from DecoArt, the same product that I used for my Decoupage, and I'm using it as an image transfer. I'll put my playlist below in the description of how I do this technique. It's super simple, super easy, and the results are awesome. I find it gives it nice crisp graphics, and it also, sometimes they're not perfect. You might rub off little bits and pieces here and there, but that's okay for this sign because I want to have it have the rustic look. Little tip when you're putting these signs together, take your time, make sure they're straight, make sure they're even. I've had so many projects where I've put stuff together, I haven't taken the time and I haven't measured, and then I remove the graphic and remove the paper and my graphics are crooked. So just take your time and use some patience. And now I'm going to start the second sign. The thing I like about this technique is the possibilities are endless. You can make any sign, any saying, any photo, and use this, and you don't have to buy a stencil for each sign, or you don't have to use a Cricut and cut out vinyl. All it takes is paper and some Mod Podge. After I finish both these signs, let me know down in the comments which one you like better. Okay, now comes the fun part. I actually found this chain that was attached to these two little wrenches in the dump, and I knew I could probably use both. And these are little, they're kind of like staples. I think they're actually for making fences. I'm not 100% sure, but I found them at the hardware store, and I thought they would work perfect to attach the chain to the signs. I've cut the chain to the length that I wanted and looped through those little staples, and then I'm just going to hammer them into the top of the sign and the bottom of the table leg. I love this look, and it's so easy to attach to the sign, and it just kind of gives it that old vintage feel instead of just using a piece of rope to tie them together. Now we're ready to work on the signs. I'm just going to dampen the whole sign with water just until you can start to see the graphics show through, and then you're going to rub away. And I'm going to put another coat of the Varathane on the sign to seal it up. And a coat of Varathane on the other sign. I really like the font of this one, this Vintage Garden. I think it really looks nice with all the vintage looking flower pattern on the table leg. And there you have a beautiful fresh flower sign, all made from pieces from the dump. I think this one might be my favorite. I really like this font, and it just kind of gives me that English garden feel. I also created this today, and I thought I would just kind of give you a sneak peek. I love finding old vintage jewelry boxes and upcycling them, and this is a beautiful memory box that I just created, And I would love, if you guys are interested, to do a tutorial on upcycling these. Just let me know in the comments if you'd like to see that. I hope you've enjoyed today's tutorial, and I'd love to have you like, subscribe, and follow along. Have a great day.